We were overseas for this show, and that usually means WWE is trying to make the night feel larger than life. It's also expected this to be the moment when the road to WrestleMania truly begins. Because the Royal Rumble is supposed to be the cleanest and most exciting one decision changed everything event of the year. The problem is that these rumbles have not felt quite as important as they did in years past, and this year did not fully fix that issue. Sami Zayn challenged Drew McIntyre for the world title, and AJ Styles faced Gunther in a match that could have ended AJ Styles' career, as far as we know. So the show had a major stakes on paper, but I wanted this event to feel royal. I wanted this event to feel great. And I also wanted it to feel like the start of something new in the road to WrestleMania. I enjoyed parts of the show, but I did not leave feeling like WWE created an unforgettable Rumble moment. Welcome back to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there is no soft behavior. I also want you to remember that I have already discussed the Royal Rumble formula in a prior video, and that the formula matters because this show tested each part of it in real time. I'm going to recap what happened, and then I'm going to explain why certain parts worked and why other parts fell flat. So, without further ado, let's get to the Rumble. Triple H started with an opening video package. The show opened with it. It was narrated by Triple H, and the entire theme was that one night can change your entire career. Triple H said that people can climb the ladder in one moment, and that the decision you make in the Royal Rumble can send you straight to WrestleMania. The video package did an excellent job of selling the idea that this is the most important time of the year. I thought the presentation was strong, and I expected the Rumble to match the feeling of the narration. But as you can see by the tone of my voice, it did not. So let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble. So the Women's Royal Rumble match. The match used, as you all know, the 90-second intervals. The opening story with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss felt meaningful. Charlotte Flair entered at number 1, and Alexa Bliss entered at number 2, which immediately created an emotional story between them two. They did not rush into the standard Rumble exchange because both women hesitated and looked unsure about whether they could truly fight each other. Alexa Bliss teased Sister Abigail, and Charlotte Flair teased the figure 8, but neither woman committed. The hesitation worked because it created a sense of friendship colliding with ambition, which is exactly what the Royal Rumble should feel like at the start, at least at the start. The match stayed slowed throughout until Jordynne Grace entered. Then the pace improved. Kiana James entered at number 3 and was immediately double-teamed, which made sense because she was the outsider in the ring between them three. Then, surprisingly, Nia Jax entered at number 4, earlier than usual, and because usually she's the sweeper in the Rumble, and she shows up at later times, but for the first time she showed up at number 4, which was earlier than usual, and she quickly leveled people in a way that established her as a threat. Ivy now entered at number 5 and tried to suplex people, but she could not lift Nia Jax, which reinforces the power imbalance between all of them. Lola Vice entered at number 6 and added more striking and speed. Honestly, nobody cared because they didn't even take a photo of her. She entered at number 7 to add more movement and chaos to the match, but then Jordynne Grace entered at number 8, and that's when the match shifted. And at that point is when the match began to feel more intense. Jordynne Grace threw multiple wrestlers around quickly, and her presence made the ring feel more competitive. The eliminations of Alexa Bliss created emotion, and Becky Lynch raised intensity. So between Nia Jax trying to take out both Alexa and Charlotte resulted in Charlotte eliminating both of them. Mistake for Charlotte and Alexa, but it was a sad moment for those two, but they had to move on because now Lynch came. Anyway, Charlotte Flair eliminated Nia Jax, but Alexa Bliss was pulled out as well, and that elimination felt meaningful. But Becky Lynch enters at number 9 and immediately squared up with Charlotte Flair, and their brawl felt like a rivalry bleeding into the Rumble, because they reminded us of all of the Royal Rumble back in 2019, where Becky ruined the moment for Charlotte Flair because she wanted to win that one, but instead it was Becky Lynch who won it. Flair fought out and Lynch fought outside the ring without being eliminated because they rolled under, and that chaos made the match feel a little bigger than simply spot trading in the ring. Natalya eliminating Becky Lynch was a strong story beat that actually mattered. But eventually, Maxine Dupree entered at number 12 and got a brief shine, including a big move popped the crowd. But even before that, like, I'm getting lost with all the people that entered. Sol Ruka eventually entered too. Where are we going? Let me pull up the damn. Like, this is why this was going to be tough to go over. Because the Royal Rumble is all over the place. Anyway, where are we up to? We are up to Becky Lynch. So Sol Ruka shows up at number 10. And then we get Roxanne Perez showing up in number 11 in her Kim Possible Shigo inspired gear, which everyone went all over online talking about. Slideshow is unorganized. Yeah, well, so is this match. Anyway, like I said, Maxine Dupree enters at number 12, and she entered and got a brief shine, including a big move that popped the crowd. So she jumped from the turnbuckle. She got the crowd rowdy. She even eventually took her straps. Like, these things on the side was her straps that were removable like her regular gear. So that's her working around the restrictions that she needs to go with when it comes to the Saudi respect to what they need to wear. But anyway, that's her gear right there. Natalya enters at number 13, and their ongoing tension instantly returned to the surface. Becky Lynch eliminated Maxine Dupree, and then Becky Lynch tries to eliminate Natalya quickly as well. But Natalya reversed the situation and eliminated Becky Lynch instead. And that was a meaningful moment because it advanced an existing story and removed a major star in a way that created consequences. Lash Legend eventually enters and creates a dominance run that was one of the best parts of this entire match. Her dominance throughout this match was probably the best thing that showed up. And I was actually shocked that that was going to happen from Lash Legend. Honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen for her, but her being one of the most dominant features in this match is a good thing for her for the future. Somewhere along this match, also Liv Morgan enters at number 14, and right after her it was Lash Legend, and Lash, like I said, immediately looked like a force. Lash Legend hit big power moves. She picked up 2 women at a time. Like, goddamn. She threw people around. Wow. Hold on. Let me get back to this. Oh my god. She threw people around. She felt like a monster rather than just another entrant. Lash Legend eventually would eliminate both the Bellas. This happens later on in the match, but it also created more heat for her as a heel. So it works. Whatever. Eventually, Raquel Rodriguez enters. Let me do something here. Raquel Rodriguez entered at number 17, and that meant that all 3 Judgment Day women were active at the same time. So all 3 of them helped their situation, and obviously you know where that's leading to. See, Green entered at number 18 and played her usual survival role, needing help from Alba Fire. She originally went in, tried to work with Judgment Day, saying they should work together. So obviously her trying to, work with them, trying to help the cause, but they didn't need her. They tried to get her thrown out, but Alba Fire was there to help her, becoming the comedic thing, but it wasn't overwhelming. And Julia entered at number 19, Io Sky entered at number 20, and Asuka entered at number 21. And Rhea Ripley entered at 22, which finally, wow. Bailey entered also at 23, and JC Jane entered at 24. This is a ridiculous thing to go over. How did people go over? The Royal Rumble is beyond me. This is crazy. Anyway, where was I? I was at Bailey entering at number 23 and JC Jane entered at number 24. Both women added more bodies and more movement in this match. This match was already overcrowded as we speak. They had like almost 10 people at one time. It was too overcrowded. Then eventually Brie Bella entered. Well, first Nikki Bella entered before Brie. What number did she entered? Nikki Bella entered at number 25. She honestly got a strong crowd reaction from everyone because everyone, I guess, in Rhea remember the older wrestlers instead of remembering the newer ones. Leah Ricari entered at 26. Kalani Jordan entered at number 27, and Kairi Sane entered at number 28. Which, again, I don't even remember how many people got eliminated at this point. Not many. Anyway. Brie Bella entered at number 29, and Tiffany Stratton entered at number 30, which pretty much ruined the fact that there's no surprise besides Brie Bella in this match, which isn't really a surprise at all for many. Not many people were into it. When the match became the final stretch, Liv Morgan became obviously the winner of this match, but let's just move on to the final stretch because all this is meaningless until the final three. Liv Morgan became part of the final three and she wins, which was the correct payoff. And the ending wasn't really that legendary. This match was mid. It was forgettable. It's going to become forgettable. The final stretch ended with Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruka as the last three. Tiffany Stratton eliminated Sol Ruka, and then Liv Morgan eliminated Tiffany Stratton with a modified Oblivion to win the match. Liv Morgan winning was obviously the correct decision because she has been a near miss runner-up for the past multiple times at the Rumble, and this Rumble win finally gives her what she's been building for years. Last Legend's dominance also stood out as a bright dominance also stood out as a bright sign of the future. But anyway, let's recap all this one more time. Honestly, I apologize. It's just too much crap going on that it didn't even feel cohesive to me. And I didn't feel, I wasn't into this. Anyway, a few things about, let's just talk about and get this over with the notable moments for this match. Number one, we will go back to the Alexa Bliss. So the first memorable moment was Bliss wanting to wait for the third entrant and work as a team with Flair. They tease hitting their finishes on each other before hugging. So that was probably a nice, I guess, notable moment for the beginning of the match. The next notable moment is James' work in this match. She looked fired up when she got into the ring. She hit a few nice moves besides Jax. Somewhere in the match did a DX chop through the crowd when they kept chanting to her she can't wrestle. She got very annoyed and she just did a DX chop and got them annoyed back. So typical heel heat from her. Flair added that emotional touch when she eliminated Alexa by mistake. Flair looked like she honestly was actually trying to save Bliss when she got eliminated, and when she did eliminate her, she felt the weight of failure. What else happened? This moment right here, Lynch continuing the pettiness against Jessica Carr because of their previous interactions during her championship run. When she came to the ring, instead of giving the title to Jessica Carr, she gives it to the Nets rep because it's just Lynch being petty. We get Vega doing her usual big moment Royal Rumble entrance gear. One of the best moments is the way Alba Fire saved Chelsea Green from elimination, which felt very creative and natural for their type of gimmick. Unlike the other save in the other end of this match is between Kairi Sane and Asuka, where the way Kairi Sane accidentally eliminated Asuka due to Io Sky interfering was way too unspontaneous. It didn't look natural. It just looked weird, and I'm starting to hate the fact that they're making them look goofy. And then obviously is our girl here becoming a dominant force in this match, and then the ending itself. The referee, by the way, in this match had to remind Liv Morgan to point at the WrestleMania sign. It's a small detail, but it mattered because the winner should look like she knows exactly what she earned. She knows she exactly earned the a Royal Rumble win, which means she's main eventing, hopefully, a WrestleMania night. She should be showing her that she earned that point. Unlike everyone else during the match that was fake pointing. When you fake point, you know you're not going to win. But it's in this moment where a lot of people started noticing the empty seats in the match in the arena, which led to the whole conversation we had previously about the empty seats at the Royal Rumble. But hey, hope it is what it is. But that was the women's Royal Rumble match. We can move on to the next one. How's it going? So, what is the next match? The next match is AJ Styles versus Gunther. Now, the story going in was that AJ Styles planned to retire this year and Gunther had cheated him out of a recent win on Raw. So Styles was putting his career on the line in order to get the next match with him. Gunther started the match by grinding AJ down with power and chops and submissions. And he eventually sent him to the announcer's table. They did a move on the announcer's table that created a deep cut on AJ's forearm, and he started bleeding throughout the match. Couldn't find a decent photo of it, but you can notice on this picture next to his side on the mat that there's a drip of blood. He got a big gauge on his arm from, I guess, how he landed on the announcer's table when Gunther threw him on it. And that he ran through it like a champ. But it was gruesome throughout that match because of it. Anyway, so AJ got sent into the announcer's table. Hard enough that AJ appeared to be cut open. AJ Styles fought back with a Pele kick and a firearms carry backbreaker, and he nearly won with a Styles clash after a springboard 450. But AJ Styles also locked in the calf crusher. But Gunther countered and continued to wear him down. Gunther ultimately trapped Styles in the sleeper, and Styles fought until he could not fight anymore. But Gunther won when Styles passed out. It was continuing back and forth, and it looked like AJ could have won it because it looked every time he was close to winning. But then Gunther kept reacting to the point that he got into the motion that he continuously tried to put him in the sleeper hold to make him pass out or tap out, that eventually AJ couldn't do it anymore and he eventually passed out and the match got rung down. Gunther won. The crowd was upset. We had a similar typical thing that when these wrestlers retire, they did the same camera style when John Cena lost. They panned into the crowd, seeing everyone reacting the same way you saw how they panned the camera when Undertaker got his streak broken at WrestleMania 30. Same situation. Everyone reacting. That's what they wanted. They wanted a viral moment. Now, this result was interesting because Gunther actually retired someone in the ring rather than simply pinning someone who had already announced a retirement. Gunther continues to call his shot and then delivers, which makes him feel like a dangerous villain at this point. So it's weird that they made Cena tap out, but now AJ Styles passes out. Whatever. It's just, however, this can only work for so long when it comes to him keep retiring people. Eventually, we need to see a major payoff with all these people he's retiring. What is the payoff eventually for Gunther? Is this defining a championship run or a WrestleMania level consequence that we will see in the future? What is this leading up to? Hopefully, that's his road to WrestleMania. Now that he's beaten, 3 people now? It's been Goldberg, Cena, now AJ Styles. What's next for him? AJ Styles received a respectful send-off after the match, and the moment felt sincere, which was important for his retirement. He was about to put his gloves down as a way of him saying, "I'm done." But right before it touched the ground, he took him back, put him on, and he said he did his pose and he said goodbye to the crowd. Now, this is where people are questioning, what was this really AJ Styles' final match? Or does this mean he's doing something? Is he going somewhere else? My assumption and my take is he is done with WWE. He might be going to TNA. He said world championship. Doesn't mean is he gonna go for the TNA World Championship? Is he gonna be signed to TNA and go that route? Or is he gonna be signed on TNA and then go become a TNA person infiltrating WWE and then going for that way? I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But in the post show, Triple H said, "Oh, he's done wrestling. He might focus on backstage thing." I don't think he will. I hopefully don't hope he will. If this is the end, this is the end. No one is promised a retirement run like John Cena's. And I hope people understand that. And he's been very specific that he doesn't want to look like crap when he retires. He wants to still be healthy and be able to move effectively. He doesn't want to look like crap moving when he retires. So hopefully, maybe he has a few matches in him, but his WWE run is over. I think he's going to TNA. He's going to go in TNA. Maybe he'll end his career with getting the TNA championship. He's already a 2-time WWE person. I think it works. Gunther's Green Quest is saying Gunther's so boring to me. Yeah, well, to some he's boring. To some he is a very good technical classic style wrestler. It's a matter of opinion, in my opinion. I think he's fine. I like his heel personality. But that's me. Anyway, let's move on to the worst match of the night. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre defended the world title against Sami Zayn, a championship opportunity Sami Zayn earned during the previous week's Saturday Night Main Event Fatal 4-Way match. Obviously, we needed Sami Zayn in Saudi because he is connected to them through their religious culture. So it makes sense. The match centered on McIntyre attacking Zayn's back throughout the match. So they already added a storyline, what I'm assuming crutch, but whatever. Zayn had hope spots, including a blue thunder bomb and a haluva kick that produced a near fall, but the match never fully reached the emotional level that you would hope for this kind of stakes. Zayn's best moments felt like they came and went rather than escalating into a crescendo. McIntyre hit multiple claymores, and he retained the title clean. They kept going back and forth, but it was eventually, after all these moves, after I don't know, I think at least 3 or 4 claymores, he retained the title clean. Now, I don't know who believed it, but I did not believe Zayn was gonna win the championship here. But I did expect the match to feel bigger, a little more desperate, and more emotionally explosive, given that part of this lead up was that people were saying he was Mr. Almost, and it would have been nice that Zayn pushed the fact that I am not a Mr. Almost, I'm going to be a Mr. Something. The match was not terrible, but it did not live up to the hype of the story. So I wish better for it, but we're not going to, I don't expect much from that in the future. I think that's it for Sami Zayn. Maybe he'll be at the Elimination Chamber. I don't expect Sami Zayn to go anything further than Elimination Chamber for a WrestleMania season. I think this was his last big thing. They might put him into something big next year for WrestleMania 43, unless the new sign up that they have from Saudi Arabia, does something. Because they just sign up a Saudi Arabia trainee. And let me roll this back to the beginning. They have a new sign up that they announced this week from Saudi Arabia that's working now in the Performance Center, and he's probably going to show up in NXT within the year. Maybe they'll even place him in WrestleMania 43, and he might replace Sami Zayn. Or they might work together. Who knows? Let's get to the Men's Royal Rumble match. The match used, again, 90-second intervals for those that don't know. Femi was the first one to enter, and this was besides the Saturday Night Main Event from December, this was his second main event roster show up, but this was his biggest event yet. Femi entered at number 1, and he looked dominant early, and that was the best part of this first half of the Men's Royal Rumble until it went to shit. I'm being serious. So anyway, like I said, Femi entered at number 1, and Bron Breakker entered at number 2. And from the beginning, this looked promising as a beginning match. A total opposite from what we started with the Women's Rumble. The Women's Rumble, we had 2 friends. The Men's Rumble, it looked like we had 2 people about to beat the living crud out of each other. And I was all for this. I was ready. I was ready to see this. But then it got ruined by a hooded man attacking Breakker and stomped him on the floor. And Breakker was thrown in by the hooded figure into the ring, and Femi eliminated him. So Breakker was eliminated almost instantly. Obviously, this is becoming a massive angle, but it also removed an advertised Powerhouse immediately. So I hope the payoff becomes significant in the weeks to come, because otherwise, this is BS, and this could have been done a different way. I don't know. This pissed me off already when I started watching. I didn't know what else to expect from this. This really annoyed me, and I'm sure people are gonna say, "Oh, that's Seth Rollins." It's gonna obviously lead up to Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker at WrestleMania. which is fine, I guess. Originally, if Seth didn't get injured, it probably would have been the same way, but for a title. This might become non-title. But I really hope they build this storyline very well. Because if they just do this clip and then maybe a clip here and there, they should progress it. I don't know what the story will be, but I hope it becomes a whodunit. Maybe Braun Breaker goes crazy, blaming people on who did it. Some people are saying, oh, that looks like Logan Paul. Maybe. I don't know. But there better be a payoff. To Seth, according to Seth, he said that he was staying home to be nanny daddy or daddy nanny or whatever. So he wasn't there. He definitely wasn't there. But someone else took the mantle and maybe they'll reveal it later. They obviously didn't reveal it now because it's obvious that it's supposed to be Seth Rollins. If it's not Seth Rollins, you guys can come blame me later. But because Seth Rollins wasn't there, they didn't reveal the person because it's going to be them. That's the match for WrestleMania. Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. The build-up better be worth it because I would have loved to see Femi versus Braun Breaker. That would have been excellent to see. Anyway, we move on to the third entrant. Solo Sikoa entered at number 3, and then Rey Mysterio entered at number 4, followed by Rusev at number 5. Why am I going through these people so quick? Because Femi pretty much eliminated all these people. He kept cleaning house. He showed his dominance, which is great, but nothing crazy to highlight except the fact that he's dominated all these people and eliminated them one by one by one by one by one. Some eliminated others, but he kept being the last person standing. It took a while until more people started staying. At number 6, it was Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona entered at number 6. He was quickly eliminated. And then finally, and this is when the match started getting interesting because now someone was able to match Femi's energy. We have Damian Priest entered at number 7. Javon Evans also entered. Hold on. Holy crap. What happened here? Like I said, Damian Priest entered at number 7 and even up the score because now we have people that can hold up against Femi. And it wasn't until long between their exchange that we get Javon Evans entering at number 8. And then at number 9, we get Mr. Iguana to no pop from the crowd because they don't know AAA. They don't know anything about AAA in Saudi Arabia, I guess. So they don't know Mr. Iguana. They don't know how cool he can be or what some people see over here, what he's contributed to the profession. So he gets no pop. He introduces, obviously, the comedic offense in the match before Trick Williams entering at number 10 and quickly eliminating Iguana. One of the comedic spots entering in the match was Damian Priest weakening up Mr. Iguana. And he was about to do a choke slam to him, but then he picks up the iguana pet. So if you guys don't know, Mr. Iguana walks around with a puppet iguana. It's supposed to be his other half or whatever. They do everything together. He enters the match with him. It's kind of like Mr. Sacco or the Cobra by Santino Marella. So it's that version, but an iguana. It's not a sock, but it's an actual iguana puppet. So he sees the iguana puppet on the floor, Damian Priest. So he picks it up and he said, F it. And he choke slams both of them. So a little comedic angle before Trick Williams enters the ring. What was it? We were at number 10. Then finally, I guess, for most, Cody Rhodes enters at number 11. Right from there, you should know that he's not winning the Royal Rumble. Him entering at number 11 is a number that has never won the Rumble, and it's probably never going to be a number that wins the Royal Rumble. So nobody cares. We get a nice moment between Cody Rhodes and Femi reigniting their matchup as Saturday Night Main Event, which was ruined by a Drew McIntyre. But they got a little exchange until we get El Grande Americano entering at number 12, followed by the original El Grande Americano at number 13. So we get the original Grande Americano. I wonder who that is. Chad Gable. Anyway, we finally see the return of the original Grande Americano or Chad Gable after he came from an injury. The exchange between these two created a visual joke. That was a fun moment for the match. We need these sometimes, obviously, for a Royal Rumble, as long as it's not heavy taken and it doesn't dominate the match, it's fine. We always have these spots. But anyway, so that created that visual joke was a fun in the moment kind of situation for the Rumble. It was a nice, lighted-hearted moment until the debut of Royce Keys, or let's go back to the real thing. When he entered, the video screen showed Powerhouse Hobbs. So Powerhouse Hobbs appeared with a name graphic on the screen. Then it changes to Royce Keys at number 14. And that moment felt a little confusing and presentation, even if the present itself was notable. So if you don't know AEW, if you don't know who Powerhouse Hobbs is, his contract ended with AEW, and he got an opportunity to be part of WWE. He got his name changed to Royce Keys, which is a mix between one of his kids' names and his late mother's names. So he combined those two and created the character Royce Keys, since he couldn't use the Powerhouse Hobbs name in WWE. So his presence was dominant, but not for long. It wasn't to the level of Femi or Brock Lesnar or anything. It felt a little underwhelming, but hopefully it gets fixed up for weeks to come. Austin Theory entered at number 15, quickly followed by Bronson Reed entering at number 16, feeling a little too obvious, but they entered, so we have two members of Division. Since one of them got rudely taken out, we have two of them dominating the ring and helping on breaking down Femi. And this is when Femi went from being a little dominant to a little weak, because he started finally getting overrun by people. Anyway, where are we up to? Yeah. Ilya Dragunov enters at number 17, creating a quick movement and motion throughout the ring, and the ring finally getting crowded. As you can see, people are taking breaks because they're losing gas. I don't know how Bronson Reed already lost gas, but damn. Okay. La Parka from AAA entered at number 18. So if you don't know him, he is a very big character in AAA. Definitely, guys, check out AAA. You can watch past episodes on their YouTube channel. Last night's episode aired for free on YouTube live, but you can probably watch the playback now if you want, and you can check these guys out. Very cool people. It's just unfortunate that Saudi Arabia is not ready for AAA, and it's unfortunate. Dragon Lee entered at number 19. Quick dominance from him, but nothing important. Then finally, the last member of Vision, Logan Paul, entered at number 20. And LA Knight entering at number 21. They all had big moments. People were getting eliminated thanks to LA Knight and Logan Paul and everyone else, but nothing of importance for the Men's Royal Rumble because everything was whateverly written. This is where we're gonna get to when this match goes downhill. Brock Lesnar entry was big for this Royal Rumble, but his elimination felt too casual for what it could have meant. But let's get to his entry. Brock Lesnar entered at number 22 with Paul Heyman, and the match immediately shifted into Suplex City, which was the correct vibe for him, obviously, being Brock Lesnar, and it helped pick up the match. It went from the Femi power hold, it went to him having to take a break from everyone because he started getting dominated with everyone, but then Brock Lesnar brought more intensity into the match. The best tease, though, in this match, after all the dominance from Brock Lesnar, is obviously the stare down between Brock Lesnar and Femi, because it looked like WWE was planting a future premium live event match right here. Obviously so. Rey Fenix entered at number 24, and Jey Uso entered at number 25. But before that, Fenix was getting dominated, obviously, by Brock Lesnar. But now this is where everything goes to shit. And this is when I need, and maybe I'm the only one in the world, to understand that Jey Uso's entrance, while great, in matches like this, we don't need it. I'm being dead serious. This was a match that Jey Uso should have just entered from the effing entrance and just ran down the ring. He could have done a whatever, but this was in the moment. From this point forward, it became a fucking Samoan fest, which is fine, but it ruined the pacing of the match. This killed it. This moment right here, him coming down through the crowd, making everyone yeet and whatever, ruin the match. This right here ruined the freaking match for the whole Rumble. Because during this match, somewhere between him, Brock Lesnar suplexing everyone, he got eliminated. Brock Lesnar was eliminated surprisingly quick, and the elimination, which should have felt big, because when you eliminate Brock Lesnar, that means a lot of shit. You don't think so? Look back at Royal Rumble in 2020 when Drew McIntyre eliminated Brock Lesnar after Brock Lesnar starting at number 1 and pretty much dominating the whole freaking match in Oba Femi fashion until Drew McIntyre came in, went toe to toe with Brock Lesnar and eliminated him, which set up a story for Drew McIntyre, who eventually won that Royal Rumble match, went to challenge Brock Lesnar in the first COVID WrestleMania 36, which is unfortunate, but that led to that story. The whole COVID thing is an unfortunate circumstance, but that was the plan. That moment when he got eliminated felt special. It felt big because he was the man that took out the effing Terminator of that match. Now, I'm not saying for this match, Brock Lesnar was the Terminator for this match. I think that goes to Obafemi, which, by the way, somewhere before that, Obafemi got eliminated by Brock, I believe, and while I would have hoped it would have been the other way around, I would have hoped Oba eliminated Brock, which could have set up this story for WrestleMania. It's fine it was this way. It is what it is. I'm sure this is going to lead up to something because Brock being Brock wants a challenge, and he will him and Oba are going to cross paths by WrestleMania. But anyway, during this whole thing, the cameraman had to work quick, and good for him to catching it for us because they quickly had to move away from the stupid yeeting session to show that he got like LA Knight and Cody Rhodes teamed up to eliminate Brock Lesnar, and everyone had to react quickly to that, including Michael Cole, because it was obviously again a big moment when you eliminate Brock Lesnar. And then he decides to roll it back. Why? Why are we rolling back the fucking yeet? Like, we didn't need it. He did it during SmackDown. We didn't need it for Royal Rumble. We didn't. We didn't. I'm sorry. We didn't need it for the Royal Rumble match. If you're having a WrestleMania match, one-on-one, whatever, like last year, yeah, go for it. But it's becoming very annoying that not only is he doing it, we're rolling it back. And it's becoming annoying as F. It ruined also the momentum at War Games. The most freaking brutal match next to Elimination Chamber and Hell in the Cell that looked like a clown show because he freaking start rolling it back and fucking riding the cell cage from the top. It looked like a joke. Now this looks like a joke. There's a moment in time and, like Chef Maku says, place to do this. It wasn't this. He could have easily just came out from the ramp, do this, and run to them down to the ring and start knocking down heads, because that would have felt more impactful. This pretty much ended my night with this match. It started a little bit with the Braun Breaker thing, but this definitely cemented it, because at that point I know where this match was leading to. There was one glimmer of hope I had, but there was one little glimmer of hope I had, but knowing how this was going, I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I already was in my head. I'm like, when is this match over? I'm like, anyway, that was my spiel for that. I already lost my train of thought. Let me get to freaking Roman Reigns, because that's the next person. The decision they made damaged like I said, damaged the momentum of the middle portion of the match, because the crowd energy did not escalate the way it should have been when a major star like Brock Lesnar was removed. They were all focusing on the damn yeet, and it just eliminated. Brock Lesnar became an afterthought. Now, I saw Brock Lesnar still staying at ringside after he got eliminated. He was pacing. I was honestly really hoping that as soon as Jey Uso came into the ring or ringside, he would have just destroyed him. But it didn't happen. I think he wanted to do that. It looked like he did, but it didn't happen. I feel bad. I mean, whatever to Brock Lesnar in terms of his other stuff, but when it comes to creating this storytelling in Royal Rumble, especially if we're trying to set up WrestleMania matches or the road to WrestleMania, this totally killed it. This became a what the f happened match. That's what this Royal Rumble is going to be. Anyway, Roman Reigns winning felt safe, and the ending lacked a legendary moment. But before that all happens, we roll it back to Roman Reigns entering at number 26. Jacob Fatu entering at number 27. Then we have Penta entering at number 28. But all before that, let's bring the obvious thing that's going to happen in the room is the fact that even before Jacob Fatu comes out, we have a stare down between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, setting up probably what's going to be the most obvious thing, which is Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are going to have a match at WrestleMania for the third fucking, because we need that rubber match, right? So we're gonna have the rubber match instead of waiting a couple more years, because probably Roman Reigns gonna retire. We're just gonna do it now. So the third match is probably gonna happening just based on this moment right here. How it's gonna happen? Probably Drew's gonna lose the belt sometime between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Most likely Elimination Chamber. But hey, what the hell do I know? So anyway, besides that, Cody started battling between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. They did a one and done to Cody Rhodes. And then eventually, between all that, Randy Orton entered at number 29, and Gunther enters at number 30. Javon Evans was eliminated by an RKO and then get thrown off by Randy Orton. Penta was eliminated by Gunther, and then what we eventually see is Cody Rhodes was eliminated after Drew McIntyre ran in and Claymored him out while he was trying to rescue himself back into the ring. This right here is obviously going to set up Cody versus Drew McIntyre, whether it's on a SmackDown or most logically it will be at Elimination Chamber. He will probably get the belt back, and we will see Roman face off against Cody Rhodes, unless they make it a triple threat, which we know how WWE loves triple threats at WrestleMania. We don't need it. We honestly don't need this rubber match. We don't need it. We really don't. We really don't. They are trying to set it up. They think we want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. You guys want it? I fucking don't. This match really annoyed me. Anyway, where are we up to? Final four. So the final stretch came down to Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Logan Paul, and Gunther. And thankfully, I'm so thankful. The only thing I'm thankful for in this whole match is Roman Reigns eliminating Logan Paul, because that means today I don't have to drink a whole case of fucking Prime. Because I said that to people, I think in the last stream. If Logan Paul wins, I will drink a case of Prime. Thank God I'm not doing that. But kudos to Logan Paul, because Logan Paul has successfully done 1 month of professional wrestling continuously, meaning he showed up to every Raw this month, and he showed up to a SmackDown taping or SmackDown show and the Royal Rumble for the month of January. He has competed in 5 matches, 3 Raws, or 4 matches, sorry. He didn't compete in 2 Raws, but he competed in either 1 or 2 other Raws, and he competed on SmackDown, and he competed in Royal Rumbles. Good for him. He has, so far, for 1 month out of the 12 months of this year, he has been a full-time wrestler. A clap to Logan Paul. Congrats to him. 1 month in, got 11 more to go. Anyway, it eventually leads to the final 2, which is between Gunther and Roman Reigns. It became Roman versus Gunther at the end, which honestly at this point, this was my last glimmer of hope. It was Gunther. I honestly wanted, as effed up this sounds, I wanted Gunther to not only win against AJ Styles. I love AJ Styles, but if the stories are true, he was going to be done after this. So glad Gunther won. But I also wanted Gunther to win the Royal Rumble. Why? Because I wanted every hope of glimmer that all the fans had to be taken away in one night by Gunther. Because Gunther's heat would have been immaculate and crazy, and maybe it would have led to a big payoff at WrestleMania. But hey, we're not getting that. I don't know where Gunther is going from here. Maybe AJ Styles is in a luchador mask and goes against Gunther at WrestleMania. Who knows? He's not AJ Styles. He's AJ Styles. Yeah, look, Gunther putting someone to sleep again. I mean, that's his move, guys. You can't get mad if Gunther's big move is to put someone to sleep. If you're saying that, then you're going to have to say the same thing about Chris Jericho putting people on the walls of Jericho, Roman Reigns fucking Superman punching everyone. Who else? Kurt Angle with the angle slam or the ankle lock? Come on. Gunther does other things. He chops people to death. Stop. You guys are just hating because he's more technical. Stop that. Gunther doesn't have a bad match. Chef Mako saying, I did appreciate him entering even if with his match earlier, like good old days. Double duty. Yes. And that's why I wanted him to win. It's like, imagine him bragging. He did 2 matches and he won both. It's like Chris Jericho beating Stone Cold and The Rock on the same night to become the undisputed champion. Imagine, same type of vibe. But no. No. Instead, we get Roman Reigns ultimately winning and earning his WrestleMania main event. Now, I really hated this match. I didn't think it was terrible, but I was so annoyed with it. The ending felt tired. I was already done with this match already, a few entrants back. Roman Reigns did not need this Rumble win to feel important. We already know how important this man is. He didn't need this Rumble win. And the final stretch did not provide a viral or historic finishing sequence that makes it notable for people to watch in the future or rewatch for every year. The match had some strong elements, such as Oba Femi's dominance, but it did not land with the level of magic that the Rumble requires. Now, no one liked that he won. Some people like that he won, but that's what's going to happen. People like that he won. Now, let's do probably the best thing out of talking about these Rumble matches is noting the notable moments for the match. Number 1 notable moment in the men's Rumble, even though this picture doesn't satisfy it. Nobody has a meltdown quite like Heyman. Nobody has a meltdown like him. He got mad that they placed someone in number 2, which was Braun Breaker. We didn't know until the match, and then he got all angry also about the whole situation with the hooded figure. But it is what it is. Big storyline coming from these group. We will see what happens. The next big notable thing, booking Femi to look so strong in what was his main roster debut was smart. He could be a top star if he continues to look this good. I'm hoping for big things for him. He really made the Rumble enjoyable until it didn't anymore. Trick Williams got a really nice reaction for his entrance, so I appreciate that the Saudi crowd respects him. He is a good worker. Don't know what his WrestleMania road will look like, but hoping it's a good one. Maybe we will get Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. title. Who knows? Carmelo and Trick are on SmackDown, so that's a possibility. Another notable moment, WWE introducing Keys as first Hobbs before revealing his name change was a little interesting, but it was a weird decision. We should have just went with it. Royce Keys. He didn't have to do that visual name change. I'm sure Michael Cole would have explained it. That's fine. Now, Keys didn't spend as much time in the ring as expected for his debut. So hopefully they do better for him. Otherwise, it's another AEW to WWE transition fail. So I'm really hoping they do good for him, but we will see. The standoff between Femi and Lesnar was a fun moment throughout the match until Lesnar threw him out. And then Lesnar got thrown out. That's when the match ended. And the most annoying notable moment of this damn match is Jay's entrance took so freaking long that not only did it ruin a big elimination moment from the Rumble, that by the time he rolled it back and the music finally stopped after rolling back, the clock started ticking, and that's when Roman Reigns was ready to come out next and ruin the whole match. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about this. Let's go. I did say after this big talk is how does the formula check through this Royal Rumble between both matches. So let's start with the first item that I talked about in my Royal Rumble video. So if you haven't seen the Royal Rumble formula video, please take a look at the YouTube channel. One of the first items I brought up in that video was stakes give the Rumble weight. The women's Rumble had a weight because Liv Morgan finally received the payoff after multiple runner-up finishes in past Royal Rumbles. And the story of her persistence was the closest to a true stakes narrative on this whole show. It wasn't perfect. It barely was. But that's the closest we're going to get. The men's Rumble did not have a comparable stakes because the booking made the direction feel obvious and there was no strong emotional engine that grew into the finish. Roman Reigns literally texted someone or put it on X that he was declaring his Royal Rumble entry. There was no emotional attachment to him winning. So it didn't feel as a fan rewarding that he won. Liv Morgan did. We've seen her fail multiple times, losing the Rumble. She's been like Michael Cole said, a bridesmaid but never a bride, whatever. So that's the closest. Not perfect, but close enough. Item number 2, and what I believe is a good Royal Rumble formula, is the endingless memory. Neither Rumble produced an ending that felt legendary or unforgettable. The final 4, for the most part, felt predictable, and the final 2 felt obvious once the match reached its closing minutes. It was very obvious for the men's that once it hit Gunther and Roman Reigns was winning. Now, if the final 2 was maybe Roman Reigns versus, I don't know, Randy Orton, maybe people would have been, oh, it could be Randy. We could have Randy versus Cody. That could have been a possibility. But once it went down to Gunther and Roman, it was obvious they wanted Roman to win. And then when it went down to the final 4 or the final 3 in the women's match, it was obvious Liv Morgan was going to win. There was no final people that felt like all of them could have won. So that's why after that, now all we're going to do is remember the whole Rumble and see how it was just predictable. It's just a bunch of social media clips. That's all they're going to do for the next week. They're going to clip all these moments, and that's all they're going to produce. Nothing rememberable. Item number 3, Rumble exposing truths. The booking exposed the WWE's intent because it felt like the company chose the safest possible route when it came to this Rumble. Femi looked memorable in his first major roster moment, and the stare down with Brock Lesnar teased a future match that could be amazing. I would personally like to see Femi, in all honesty, eventually retire Brock Lesnar at a major event at SummerSlam at the end of the day, because it would feel symbolic given his past, Brock Lesnar's past future with certain superstars. If you know, you know. So it would be interesting if Femi is the person to take down once and for all into retirement Brock Lesnar instead of Gunther. I would like it to be Femi, but that's me. What else? The choice to eliminate Brock in such a casual way was disservice to the whole match because it weakened the importance of his presence and reduced the impact of the tease with Oba. I also thought Jey Uso's entrance energy is starting to work against his matches because the repeated run it back style moment are beginning to interrupt the flow throughout the elevation that's needed in this match. If that continues, it's just going to damage the momentum of his career rather than building it up. So at the end of the day, the show felt like a play it safe Royal Rumble. I don't even know if I should call it Royal Rumble anymore. I'm just going to call it the Rumble because there was nothing royal about this freaking event. Liv Morgan winning was the correct decision, and Lash Legend's dominance was one of the best surprises of the night. Gunther retiring AJ Styles was effective and made Gunther feel like a true villain. But it needs to lead to something bigger, hopefully. Drew McIntyre retaining over Sami Zayn made sense, but the match did not feel as emotional as explosive as it should have. Roman Reigns winning the Men's Royal Rumble felt too obvious, and honestly, I felt tiring after that match. And the match did not produce the kind of ending that makes these Rumbles feel timeless. I was entertained for a bit, but I did not feel like this show created something truly royal. At the end of the day, this was just the Rumble to me. I hope the WrestleMania build becomes clearer and stronger than this because this level is not quite good enough for the biggest show of the year. I'm really scared for this year's WrestleMania. I honestly don't know what to expect from it besides just a bunch of clips and bullcrap. I need decent story development for all these people. If they don't give it, I don't see the importance of even watching the WrestleMania this year. But anyway, that was the tea drop, and I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, if you haven't had a chance, please take a look at the Royal Rumble formula video and let us know in the comments what you think of the Royal Rumble this year. Did it live to your expectation? Do you think this Rumble will live forever? Or will it hide behind just a bunch of highlight reels? I will see you on the road to WrestleMania because now the real storytelling begins. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.